This question came up in last night's tutorial, and it was such a good one I thought I need to just make a short video on this because this basically gives you a pictorial idea of what's happening when mathematicians talk and they use terms and expressions and why are they doing it this way. And it had to do with increasing and decreasing functions. I can draw, here's a function that is increasing. As we go from left to right, it's obviously climbing the hill. Those are good English words and it tells the story, but it's not mathematics. Here's a function that is obviously decreasing. Let's call this one f of x and g of x. F of x is our increasing function, g of x is our decreasing function. And what we're going to do, and what mathematicians will do, is pick an x value and they'll do x sub 1. Sub meaning like submarine, under. This is the one is basically saying that this is the first term. Here's another term, x2, x sub 2, that is further to the right. And so we can say that, we can look at this and say x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is greater than 0. And the reason I can say that is this is the larger, more positive number. This is the smaller number. When you subtract a small number from a bigger number, you get a positive result. And so that's why they will make this distinction. Now let's look at what happens when I look at my various functional values for those two. Here is f of x1. Here is f of x sub 2. This height for f of x sub 2 is higher than this height. This number is bigger than this number. So f of x sub 2 minus f of x sub 1 is bigger than 0. And we say that this function, because of this function is increasing. Now let's go to the g of x. Here's our g of x sub 1 right there. And here is our g of x sub 2. In this case, g of x sub 2 minus g of x sub 1, this number is smaller, this height is smaller than this height, which means that this difference, g of x sub 2 minus g of x sub 1, is going to be less than 0. When that happens, the function is decreasing. That's what we mean by the mathematical language used to describe increasing and decreasing functions. And this is how to talk in this class.